Welcome back to Richard French Live. On Friday, we sat down with Anthony Weiner, a candidate in the race for New York mayor. He told us he's not dropping out under any circumstance. Now we have part two of that conversation, where at one point, Weiner refers to himself as, quote, the white guy, while discussing stop and frisk. Say whatever you want about Weiner's personal life, just don't tell him Bill and Hillary Clinton may want him out of the race. Those are fighting words.
Look, I'm going to win this race, so any conversation about who comes in second or third or fourth is really for the pundits, but not for me. I'm focused on one campaign. I'm focused on a winning campaign. I'm focused on my campaign.
Mr. Weiner, do you really believe in your heart that you are going to win this campaign?
Yes. I am going to win this campaign, and I'll tell you why. I've got better ideas. I'm showing that I'm a stronger person. I'm a stronger leader. I'm showing that, frankly, every single day. Look, Dominic, I'll make it easy for you. There's a whole bunch of people in this race that if you like the way things are going, you can vote for. You've got a city council speaker, a public advocate, a controller, a past controller, a councilman. You've got people who are basically from the organizing, governing apparatus that we have today. If you like that, stick with it. If you want something different, you really have one choice. If you want someone who's running a different kind of campaign, who's kind of a disruptor in this race, someone who's not lining up unions, famous people, Democratic clubs, who's really fighting for the middle class and those struggling to make it, I'm your guy. So I'm absolutely convinced that that's where the electorate is today.
With your internet pass, let's take your argument for a second that you will be elected mayor. How do we know that you won't be blackmailed as mayor?
Look, you can ask this question 100 different ways, and it basically is, you know, knowing these things that we know about my background, do you think I'll be a good mayor? I think I'll be a good mayor. I'm not concerned about being blackmailed. I've honestly said to you that I think things could come out. When this came out, I learned a very important lesson the first time. I didn't try to duck and bob and weave. I basically says, yeah, this was me. I warned you that this might come out, and here it is. I've not run away. I've done press gaggles. I've done issue events as if nothing has happened. I can't think of a single public event that I canceled because of this. I went to places like City Island, to Tottenville, to Rockaway, places where I knew I would face tough questions, and I got them. This, to me, is part of campaigning for mayor, showing that you can take the heat, because that kitchen is going to get pretty hot. Now, what have my opponents shown? My opponents shown that when there was a chance to fold, they did. When there was a chance to overturn term limits, they did. Bill de Blasio supported overturning term limits when he was running for speaker and then changed his mind when the popular opinion turned the other way. That Bill Thompson's entire career in public life has been basically to get along with everyone and offend no one. Look, I'm running a different type of a campaign. I'm trying to be disruptive because I think we need disruption right now.
A long shot candidate in the Democratic primary, Reverend Eric Salgado, has called the use of Carlos Danger very insulting to the Spanish community. Your reaction?
I'm sorry that he feels that way.
Why Carlos Danger?
It's a joke between me and one person. I'm trying not to comment on anything that person decides to release. They have a right to release whatever they want, but it was a joke.
If you're not in the race for mayor, so you're telling us there's no way you're dropping out?
No, sir.
None?
No, sir.
No matter what the Clintons say, no matter what House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi says?
Well, the Clintons haven't said anything to me. Nancy Pelosi doesn't get an opportunity to vote in this election. You know, frankly, I'm trying to win the votes of New York City folks, and if you want to be the darling of the national chattering class, you've got the wrong candidate. That's not my objective. My objective is to be there fighting for middle-class people who need housing opportunities, who need good jobs, who want a school system that's better. That's who I'm interested in. You know, you turn on the Sunday shows, you've got David Axelrod, who works for one of my opponents, whose firm works for Bill de Blasio. He's self-interested. You have someone else who claims to speak for the Clintons, and then she has to reveal that she hasn't spoken to them in years. So I'm focusing on the things that I'm focusing on.
But isn't it ironic, because isn't that what voters could say, enough is enough? I mean,
maybe, but I have to tell you something. If you tuned into this program tonight and you say, I want to learn a little bit about Anthony Weiner, sure, you're giving them a great education about something in my private life that's a year or more ago. Okay, I think that's of some value to some voters. What I think, though, that we would all do a service to those voters to maybe honor the fact that maybe a few of them are like, I get it. He has some personal things that he went through in his past. I want to find out about my future. And I think that sometimes, maybe we should take a step back and realize this election is about them, not about gotcha questions and a candidate on the ropes. That's not really what this is all about. I'm going to stand up. You're going to be in the back of the Blue Room in a year from now asking me tough questions, and I'm going to answer them. But citizens in this city are going to want to know that they're talking about the subject they care about.
But Mr. Weiner, you know what? You have a great point. It's not just about the negative. In your background or in anybody's background. Fair point. But people are using words like delusional to describe your candidacy.
As they did when I got in the race.
And so you said a year from now, I'll be in the back of the Blue Room at City Hall indicating that you're the next mayor.
Dominic, I feel like I should call you Mr. Carter. You're calling me Mr. Weiner. But look, Dominic, here's the simple fact. When I got in this race, the Daily News had an editorial saying, take a hike, bum. The New York Post did the same thing. The New York Times is practically seething with contempt for the idea that voters would actually want to vote for me. And every single day, I said, you know what? These are the same people that wanted Mike Bloomberg to get a third term. Tell me about whose judgment is so bad, okay? And I've said to them, look, let's leave it to the voters. You say, some people say, okay, fair enough. Do you not think that citizens of this have not seen enough of the private weakness of Anthony Weiner? I got it. I stipulate to that. I did those things. I'm a flawed person. But I've got some darn good ideas for the middle class. I've got a darn good ideas for the middle class, 64 ideas. I've got a second idea book coming out when most candidates don't have their first idea book coming out. Every single day I'm talking about those things. I've got a campaign that's not built on endorsements of famous people, that's built on good ideas. I'm talking about issues that no one in this campaign is talking about, like health, like how do you get health insurance costs under control. These are the things that I'm going to keep talking about. You can come with me if you want, Dominic, or you can stay right where you are and asking more of these questions. It's your call, and I'm going to do the best I can to answer them.
Well, just one last question, and you're going to say, see, you're sticking to the negative. But
not the negative, the personal from a year ago and more. It's not even negative, it's fine. You have a critique of my program, I want to hear it. I'm not talking negative, positive, I'm talking personal from years ago, or a year ago, to the future of the city of New York. You have a lot of your viewers who had a 20% increase in their rent last year. A lot of your viewers lost middle-class jobs and now have low-wage jobs. A lot of your viewers are going to public schools that they went to when they were a kid, and they're like, boy, it's not the same. It's not as good. You got a lot of people who are going to watch this program. Hundreds of thousands who were stopped walking down the street just because they were a person of color and wants to hear, how's the white guy going to respond to that? These are important issues that people are thinking about. Maybe you're right. Maybe they want to hear about something I did at my computer a year ago that I've worked out with my wife. Maybe you're right. But just maybe they're where I think they are, where they have that in the bucket now. They know that they have that in their calculation, but they want to have some other things they want to talk about too. I just hope we get to that.
Okay, so you said the last emails that you've sent like that were a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any of the records anymore. The first thing you do when you recover from something like this is purge it from your life. My memory jibes with, the end of August. There might have been emails that went back and forth, but nothing untoward, nothing inappropriate, no pictures. I don't think anything past the end of August, early September.
Do you think you're done with that permanently?
I am.
And so the campaign goes forward, and you're in this until the very end?
Well, I've got another 39 days for the primary. There may be a runoff because I'm going to finish first, but I don't know if I'm going to clear 40. 3 weeks then for a runoff, and then you've got the general election. None of these are going to be easy races. I'm going to work hard each and every day. And then I've got some time to put together the best administration the city has ever seen. And then 4 years of every single day working my tail off for the middle class, those struggling to make it in the middle class.
Interesting. RFL continues right after this break. Stay with us.